Is Jessica Jones' greatest enemy not the Purple Man, but herself? Well, let's hop into the pages of the Variants issue number 4, the penultimate issue of this Gail Simone series, and find out together, shall we? So then, picking up almost directly from where the last issue had left off, things had calmed down just enough for Prime Universe Jess to have a much-needed, long-overdue heart-to-heart with her multiversal variants. It would seem that the one thing that actually ties together all these travelers from other universes, be it Captain America Jess, Jewel Jess, or Omega Jess, is that none of them actually have families. In fact, when our Prime Universe Jess actually works up the courage to show the others a picture of Danny and Luke, Omega Jess ends up freaking the hell out. And I mean, it makes sense that Jess is closer to the original Jessica Jones from the Alias series, who I'm assuming in her world lived a life that didn't end with her happily riding off with Luke and having a daughter. Speaking of major narrative bombs dropped at the end of the previous issue, our Jess was handed a note from a mysterious waitress who told her not to trust the 3 other people at her table. When Jess goes to the bathroom, she ends up being accosted by this waitress, who turns out to be yet another multiversal Jess. This one turns out to be a street-level vigilante going by the name Night Press, and I can't exactly be sure if she's supposed to be that universe's answer to Daredevil, or maybe if Jessica Jones had become a Spider-Woman analog. You tell me. Because honestly, her costume looks like it could go either way. Now, the clock is very much ticking down right now to whether or not Jess is going to go crazy because of that psychic bomb that the Purple Man put inside her brain. No one really seems to have much of a plan except for Night Press, which in and of itself is pretty damn suspicious that she comes out of nowhere and starts directing the others on what to do. Jess Prime makes some phone calls, first to Luke to find out whether or not he and her daughter are safe. They are, after Luke just narrowly managing to escape a male version of Jessica Jones from the end of the previous issue. Now that they know this problem is much worse than just Jess and just the Purple Man, it's decided that the Avengers are actually going to take custody of Luke and Danny until all of this can be settled. That's not the only call Jess made either, but more on that in a minute. Now that she knows her family is safe from herself or anyone else, Jess decides now is time for a seance. The plan is quite simple. Before Jess can go nuts, she's going to go deep inside her own mind and have one final showdown with the Purple Man. It's all very Freddy Krueger, if you ask me. Now, you're probably thinking to yourself, if it was this easy for Jess to defeat the Purple Man and undo his psychic programming, wouldn't she have done so much earlier? Well, the answer is Jess isn't doing this alone. She called in a ringer. She got Luke to call his old teammate Wolverine, who in turn got in contact with Professor frickin' Xavier, one of the Earth's most powerful psychics, who is now in Jess's mind to help her out. Seriously, how has it taken this long to have a Purple Man versus Xavier story? Professor X is so wonderfully pompous to, "Oh, Purple Man, I hear you've been talking mad shit. I hear you think you're the master of the mental. Well, guess what? You're a fucking insect next to me, bro." Also, too, if you've been reading the Krakoan X-Men books, it's actually kind of funny to see Xavier doing something that is undeniably heroic and not looking for something in exchange or secretly working some underhanded angle. Professor X gives Purple Man the mental beatdown before eventually discovering something rather interesting. You see, Chuck tries to get inside Purple Man's mind and ask him some very simple questions. Who was your high school crush? What was the name of your pet? Etc, etc. Only, here's the thing, Kilgrave doesn't give Kilgrave answers, he gives Jess's answers, right down to saying that she had a crush on Peter Parker in high school. Oh, I love when that piece of continuity comes back. The big reveal being that Purple Man never really was inside Jess's mind at all. He's just a psychic projection put there to screw with her. That basically means he has to be still dead, and if he's still dead, there's no way that the Purple Man could also be behind all of these variant problems that Jess has been dealing with. So yeah, basically the Purple Man, the psychic bomb, was all one giant red herring, or should I say purple herring, to protect the real perpetrator of all these events, who is revealed to be none other than Jewel Jess. Yes, that's right, the most heroic looking of the Jess variants, the most wholesome one, actually turns out to be the true villainous mastermind behind all of this. But why is Jewel doing this? Well, the answer is actually very fascinating. You see, Jewel Jess is actually violently jealous of Jess Prime, and because of that, she has come here to actively steal away her daughter Danny for herself, which explains why she was in her room when she first appeared. And while Cap Jess and Omega Jess are equally as confused about all of this as Jess Prime, it's revealed that Jewel Jess isn't working alone. In fact, she's recruited a whole legion of evil Jess variants to help complete her final mission as the comic comes to a close. And so that was the Variants issue number 4, everyone, and I gotta say, this series really is saving some of the best stuff for last. Gail Simone ends up zeroing in on one of my favorite ideas when it comes to multiversal fiction, and that is the idea that in an infinite world filled with infinite possibilities and infinite versions of you, for reasons that may seem completely inconsequential, you might actually be the best version of you that exists out there, or in this case, might be the most happy version, which for Jess is saying something because she always seems miserable. Having Jewel Jess ultimately end up being the bad guy too is such a simple but genius stroke of the pen. I'm actually a little disappointed in myself that I didn't think of it sooner. You also gotta love this too, starting off as a simple Jessica Jones multiverse story, but now getting to involve the X-Men characters, the Avengers, the Daughters of the Dragon. Simone really is using every toy in the Marvel box, and I really appreciate that. Overall, I'd give this one another very positive 8 out of 10.
Hey there everyone, Cape Joel again, and I want to thank you so much for watching to the end of the video. As always, if you liked what you see, be sure to like, subscribe, comment. It really helps drive engagement and helps me out too. Also, if you are a patron, which you can become for as little as $1 a month, you will get exclusive content that no one else can ever see, and you'll get to see the Comic Multiverse podcast before anyone else too. You can check out all this and more down in the description. And until next time everyone, this has been Cape Joel, and I'll see you all next time. Cheers.